What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be doing another First Shots video. Today we're going to be going over the FNS 9C. Now the 9C I imagine stands for 9mm compact. However, this one in particular here is a subcompact. As you can see here, this is a sub 4-inch barrel. It's 3.6 inches. We have a bunch of features on it that are very cool in my personal opinion. It came with two magazines. This guy is a 17 rounder and this guy here is a 12 rounder. So we have a 12 round capacity right out of the box. Now they also take 10 rounders if you want that flush fit guy, which is very nice. Now this is a polymer framed pistol, but at least on the website, it is not striker fired. It is double action. That's what it says on the website. And there's a couple of unique things to these FNs that maybe you don't get on some other pistols, which is kind of cool. So first off, you're left-handed. This is very left-hand friendly. As you can see here, it's not a swappable magazine release, but it actually does work from either side, which is kind of unique. And I've very rarely seen any pistol that does that. Part of the reason for that is because those generally don't work very well, but you do see some of those with paddle releases on like HK guns. Pistols like Walthers also generally have ambi magazine release on the paddles as well. As you can see, it's a very European design, and FN just happens to be from Belgium, so it makes sense. Now we do have some very usable slide serrations up here with some very unique slide cuts on the slide that I imagine did cost a little bit of money, because those do look like they are a little bit more complicated to mill than a lot of the firearms that you see today. This gun came with night sights. I believe these are True Glows, because not only are they night sights, but they are fiber optic compatible as well. And I think those are the only company I'm aware of that does that. However, they could be FN's version of that for all I know. FDE color is very neat. I like the color. It was the first thing that drew me to the gun. I planned on getting a bunch of very famous subcompacts for Subcompact Summer, and this is just another one of those. The FN series of pistol is generally a very good and very well-received 9mm. We've got an interesting trigger here, very reminiscent of the M&P design, and it is interesting. As you can see right here, it is not that bad of a pull, but it is a relatively long release, and I've never been a huge fan of these half triggers. The half-ass triggers is what I call them. It is interesting in function. Now we do have a undercut here that is very well done. Unlike the Glock, there's lots of room for my hand. And then another thing that attracted me to the gun is the adjustable back straps. You can put them on or off if you want, but it does have some excellent texture on the gun, which is generally a quality of FN. FN usually doesn't like things too slicked up. They like them a little edgy, and I like that too, because they're usually easier to hold on to. We also have a ledge up top here to run the slide, which is very nice for one-handed use. And then we have ambi slide lock, slide release, and as I mentioned, ambi magazine release on both sides. So if you are left-handed or right-handed, you can use it right away. No messing around with it at all. Now the weight on the gun is going to be a little bit heavier than your standard Micro 9, but it is just a hair bigger as well. 23 ounces puts it just right below a Glock 19, so keep in mind, and it's going to be a little bit heavier than some of the Micro 9mm. Now with the barrel length of 3.6, you do get a little bit more expansion on the hollow points. You do get a little bit less muzzle flip than you would on something like a 3-inch. It's kind of standard on the P365 and guns like that. So you're going to get a little heavier gun with a little longer barrel length with a similar or a little larger capacity. And it's going to be a little bit thicker too, because this is not a Micro 9. She's a fatty, just like the Glock 26. It's a full subcompact, and these do accept the full-size FN magazines, which is the big upside of not going with a Micro 9 and going the subcompact, is you do get the option to use the large magazines, the 17s, and so on. And finally, overall, with an MSRP of around $600, I do feel like you get a lot of features for the money, definitely more than some, and maybe a little less than some. That being said, I didn't pay $600 for this. I paid a little bit under $500 for this, and that's because these guns are not new, and they are available in a lot of places for way less than MSRP, which makes them a lot more appealing to me these days. The subcompacts have kind of been put on the back burner because of the micro subcompacts, I guess, the little slimline ones, and it has made awesome guns like the VP9SK or the CZ-P10S very, very affordable. The CZ coming in at like $350 these days, and sometimes you can even see these for in the $400 mark. For I would argue, a duty grade firearm, this is an excellent price. That being said, we haven't shot it yet, so let's go down and shoot it. But before we do, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. We did buy this with the Patreon dollars, and I really appreciate you guys supporting the content. We try to do the most honest gun content possible. I might be wrong, but I'll never lie to you. And if you like that stuff, just make sure to go down to the description and sign up for Patreon. It's the best way to support us. Also on that description is a link to a local shelter named Iowa. It's the YSS. It's a youth shelter in my area, and I would really appreciate it if you donate to those kids. All it takes is a few bucks, and you're doing a damn good thing. So, all right, so we've got some Blazer brass in here. We've got some Federal 115 grain. We've got a few other ammos, and we're gonna shoot them today. We're at 75 yards. I ain't promising anything, just simply because I haven't shot a pistol in a while, so we'll see how it goes. And we're using a 3-inch barrel at 75 yards with iron sights, which is never easy, but I like the sights. End of video. Fail barrel. Well, we got a couple hits right out the gate. I'm pretty happy with that. And to be honest with you, the trigger's not near as bad in operations as I thought it was in dry fire. It's actually pretty excellent. It's got a pretty audible reset too, which is kind of nice. But we got the big guy in there now.
You know I like having the big guy in there.
Yeah, you do. Now, one of the big advantages to having a gun like this, like a traditional subcompact that accepts the large magazines, is that you do get a much larger grip. So when I'm shooting this gun now with the larger magazine, it does feel like a full-size gun with a short barrel and a short sight radius. And if you do run one of these with a dot and you put that grip in there, you eliminate that sight radius issue, and you essentially have a full-size gun with a little more muzzle flip and a little less velocity. So keep in mind that the nice thing about the subcompacts is that they can be upgraded very quickly to a more high-performing firearm, in my opinion. Well, I'm getting used to this. I like this. This is nice.
Okay, cutie.
All right, so throw a 12 rounder in there, and we're at about 50 something, a little bit more than 50, not much. Smaller one's harder to hit. What a surprise. That's a solid cadence at 50 yards for a subcompact.
Are you in love?
Dude, I don't hate this. I mean, this might be my favorite FN pistol I've ever shot on the channel so far. I'm traditionally not an FN guy. I don't love the way that they market their pistols. I don't love that like half the reviews on YouTube on FNs are not really reviews. I just generally don't love their ergonomics, but this fucking thing is crazy good for what it is so far. I mean, we only have 4 mags through it, and obviously things can change, but I mean, FN's known for having reliable guns, and this one's super shootable and super accurate so far, and it brings a lot of features to the table that I'm kind of jacked about for the price I got it for.
And it does look sexy.
It does look sexy, yeah. Well, it's hard to fuck up FDE.
It really is.
You know? First thing, while we're way over here, that I noticed is the magazine release does not work as well as a standard, so say when.
Help! Uh-oh.
All right, so that's a good description of how the magazine release might work for you. Let's try some small ones at about 10 yards here, and we'll just see how kind of medium speed we can go on these and see if we can get some precision accuracy. Say when. Not too bad for a little gun. You wanna try the dueling tree maybe? 5-0?
Yeah.
Pretty quick for a little guy.
Yeah,
let's go do a couple of home defense drills and then maybe I'll let you shoot it. What do you think?
Oh boy, okay.
Hard to say. 5 on 5. All right, let's do 2-2-2. Well, we got one on the last guy, but I promise you, he doesn't feel very good. Damn, girl.
It's a good size grip for me. I like them thick.
So, first shots of the FNS 9C were pretty good. Better than expected, I would say. The 3.6 handled real well. We just shot the 3.6 Smith a little while back, and it handled very similar to that. I like this barrel length. I like the reciprocating mass on the gun. I like the recoil of the gun. I like the trigger of the gun. I like the grip of the gun, and I like the look of the gun so far. All the things are pointing upward, except for maybe one thing, which is kind of down that way, and that is going to be the left-hand controls. I am not left-handed. 85% of the people in the world are not left-handed, which is fine. Great for you 15%. However, a swappable magazine release is the most common for a reason. And it's because traditionally these ambi magazine releases do really suck, and they don't come out when you want them to, and they kind of give you the worst of both worlds. They kind of work shitty both ways as opposed to just working really good one way and one really bad way. And if you're left-handed, it doesn't take that much to swap it over to the left hand, and then you have a good magazine release too, instead of a shitty one. So if you're a left-hander, go out there and expect better and try to get yourself a swappable magazine release so you don't have to deal with this. That being said, reloads in concealed carry situations, reloads in real-life situations are very, very uncommon. And very uncommon. I mean, I think Active Self-Protection just did a video or did like a bunch of thousands and thousands of videos, and it's very rarely ever happens. That being said, should you be able to do it? Yes. Is it a huge pro of a semi-automatic pistol? Yes. So should they do a better job on the magazine release? Yeah, I think they should. That being said, maybe they have. I don't know. This is not that new of a gun. And I'm not familiar with all of FN's product line. So I do really like the gun, and I definitely can accept the magazine release for all the pros that this gun gives me. For the price I got it for the color it is, for the features you get, for the grip, for the texture, for the shootability of the gun, and the accuracy of the gun was pretty impressive, no? Mm-hmm. I mean, you shot it. You really liked it.
I did like it, actually.
Yeah,
I actually really liked the size of the grip. I know I have small hands, but I do like a thicker grip. It does help me hold on to it. Mm-hmm. And as much as I don't typically like aggressive grips, I do like the texture. Right.
Well, the more you can get your hands on the gun, the more friction you can get on the gun, like the more surface area you get on the pistol, the more friction you get, and generally the more stable you can hold it, not just in recoil. That's what a lot of people talk about. But let's talk about trigger control with grip. So trigger control is pulling the trigger all the way to the rear without disrupting the sight picture. Add the grip to that, and even if you're slapping the trigger, if your grip's solid, you can keep the gun relatively on target, especially in close distances, and pile those rounds off. So grip and size of grip really do help even with accuracy and speed. So I like the grip, and for a guy my size, I do prefer a subcompact size gun over a micro 9, especially if I'm gonna shoot it a lot. And I think at least in this platform with the night sights and the front slide serrations, the only thing that's really missing is an optics ready capability, which I'm pretty sure they have at this point. I haven't checked their website, but I imagine they have optics ready capable guns. I do have an FN Mark III 5.7, and it does have a universal optics mount, and I do have a delta point on it and all that. So I imagine you can put them on there. If not, you can get them milled. But personally for me, iron sights are great, and these are excellent iron sights out of the box, some of the best I've ever seen, and I really like the gun overall, and I will be doing a 1,000 round review. So hopefully you guys are excited for it. Hopefully you guys watch it. If not, I'm doing it anyway. Hopefully you like this video. Please like and subscribe. Please help out your whole fucking something. Please help out somebody somewhere, I guess. Jeez, I got so distracted by the wasps and the ground squirrels, and you look awful sexy in that dress that I think this just might be the outro. Check you later.